Hi, how you doing? We're back on that terrible case of building things on sand. And as you know, I think the good book says it's not a clever idea to build things on sand if you can build them on rock or something a little firmer. And what I'm referring to is the proposal that we build 2 nuclear reactors at Sizewell C, just up the coast from us, and it's proposed that, I understand, £700 million of sort of seed corn money is being made available in the autumn statement to get this running, and that's what they're looking to do. Now, I sort of would like to remind you of the events on this coast over the last several centuries, and some of you may recall that Dunwich was the biggest, most prosperous settlement along the coast between Norfolk and Suffolk, and that was pretty much washed away over a number of decades completely. Walton Castle, you could come here to Felixstowe to see it. Sadly, you would have to go under the sea because it disappeared under there back in the 17th century, though it was built in the 3rd century. We have the 53 floods where we had water coming in from everywhere. Most recently we've had the loss of the Red House at Sizewell, and this coastline is one of unpredictable failures of both sea defences and general defences on our coast. And one really must question the wisdom, particularly in view of the failure of COP27 to address the global emergency that will undoubtedly lead to sea level rises in the decades to come. So what we really need to know is why we're doing it. So in that we do have a number of sites that are actually on rock and similar on the western part of the United Kingdom. One would assume one of the redundant Magnox sites there would perhaps be a better site to consider to build a nuclear power station if you are determined to go ahead with saddling future generations with the cost of cleaning up the mess that they are going to leave behind. And bear in mind that Sizewell A, one of the first, is still sat there, too hot to handle, and won't be actually handled until 2095, and at today's cost that's at least £1 billion of your and my money to make it safe, and the money that should have been available to finance that disappeared in the privatisation of the electricity generation that took place some time ago. So moving on from that, seeing as we're talking about finance, you may be aware that in addition to the seed corn money, the UK, along with France, has actually decided that they will pick up 20% of the cost, and the cost, I think, has risen from, at Hinkley Point, has risen from 19 billion to 30 billion, and one would assume it will start here at Sizewell at 30 billion and up. So currently we have commitment by 2 governments for 40% of the cost, looking for 60% of the cost coming from elsewhere. In addition to that, we've got 18 months or more of need to meet all the regulatory requirements that have yet to be undertaken. So that's further delay. So it's looking pretty much as if you won't see a single erg of electricity coming out of either of these reactors until about 2040. And I suppose what we also have ongoing is legal action by TASC and Stop Sizewell C, which is having a oral hearing in the High Court on December the 14th. So we'll come back around then to update you as to what's happened, and hopefully we'll have something a bit more definitive before the end of 2022. Bye bye.